Hello and welcome back, and welcome if you're new. My name is Hannah and this is Jar of Fireflies. Here you'll find content all about my life as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of 3. And today I'm taking you guys along in a week in my life while I'm preparing for Shabbat. So Shabbat is a holiday that we have every single week. Think about having Thanksgiving every week. Like, it's a lot. You can't do it all in one day. I spend a little bit of time every single day getting ready for Shabbat each week. And in this video, I'm taking you guys along on a day by day of what I'm doing each day to get ready for Shabbat that starts on Friday night. All right, let's do this. So most of the prep work that I do on Sunday for Shabbat, that is almost a week away, mainly revolves around finishing up all the cleanup and things from Shabbat, which just ended last night. So here I'm running a load of laundry to take care of the tablecloths that we're going to need for next week. And here I'm just putting away a few more dishes that were in the drying rack that I had finished washing last night before I went to bed. Among those were a Kiddush cup and our plate that we use for Havadalah, so I put those away on the mantle, which is where I'm keeping them currently until we build some more shelves. And then I put away our Havadalah spices and went and took the final Kiddush cup that we used for Havadalah and went to wash that. I recently did a video all about my routine on Saturday nights, which is right after Shabbat, and all the cleanup and things that I get done there. So I will link to that in the description box below, as well as a video about Havadalah if I'm saying this word and you don't know what it means. Of course, I need to unload the dishwasher. I ran it last night, and so this is all the dishes that we had been using over Shabbat, different serving plates we had third meal on, all of our cups and little serving bowls for salads, utensils, all that stuff. It was all in the dishwasher. I had to wash it all, and now I get to put it away. Of course, this is in large part to make room for the final pots and pans that need to go in there. All that stuff that was there on the counter all needs to get washed. Those were dishes that we had used either for serving or for cooking, and if it was used for cooking, like that big pan, that's what we keep our fish in all Shabbat so that we can easily heat it back up if we need to. Once the dishwasher was finished being reloaded, I ran that one more time and then went over here to put away our hot plate. Because it's still hot on Saturday night, I don't put it away until Sundays. And there it goes in its new spot where it fits perfectly on top of my refrigerator. And that's about it for Sunday Shabbat prep. So Mondays are the time when we like to sit down and decide if we're going to invite anybody to come for Shabbat or not. This is for multiple reasons. One, if we're going to invite somebody, Monday is the time to do it, because if we don't do it then it'll probably just not get done. Also, if we're going to invite somebody, we want to go ahead and ask them before they get invited out or make plans to invite people over, whatever. We just want to go ahead and get them before they've made too many plans and then they're not able to come to us. We don't necessarily sit down and have a cup of tea when we have this discussion, though this particular night that was quite a lovely thing to do. We often will just do this over the phone during the day or even a text message, but it's just Monday's kind of the day that we want to have the discussion. Of course, having the discussion at home means that we will most likely be interrupted by someone, in this case this evening, my toddler, who wanted us to come with him to go see something. Can't remember what now as I'm doing this voiceover, but that is basically our Monday Shabbat prep. Tuesdays are my favorite day to bake challah for Shabbat. We have to have challah every single week for Shabbat, and when I bake a batch of bread, it'll last me from 1 to 2 weeks, just depending on how much bread we're eating at one time. Because we keep gluten-free, I can't buy the bread locally. I basically have to make it myself, or I have to order it frozen from a co-op that ships in from New York, and as you can imagine, my homemade bread tastes just a little bit better than that. Because we like to start our school weeks on Sundays, Tuesday is basically midweek for us, and I like to schedule a very light day of schooling for the kids, and this gives me more time to do things like bake the bread. I try to get this stuff started before the kids wake up, though by the time that I get at least some point through, at least one of the kids is usually up with me, and then they get to help. If I don't get to it in the morning though, then they all get to help in the afternoon, and that is super fun for them also. Because challah is such an important part of Shabbat, this is a job that has to get done, and it's probably my most important job that I get done during the week to prepare for Shabbat each week. It's also my most time-consuming job during my Shabbat preparations, but it's also probably one of my favorites and the most fun. I just really enjoy the whole process of baking bread for my family, and of course, it smells amazing. And once this bread is done being cooled off, I will put it into bread bags and into the freezer to save for Friday. On Wednesdays, I like to sit down and do a little bit of menu planning for Shabbat. Now, this pretty much is the same for us every week. We always eat Moroccan fish on Friday night. We almost every week are eating hameen, and we're always eating a lot of salads. These are all things that my husband typically will make all himself, so I don't really need to worry about those. But it is kind of a time for me to sit down and think about if we're having people over or if it's just our family. Do I want to make a special dessert? Do I want to make a side dish or a side salad? These are just things that I will sometimes do. And so I'll just sit down and I can write it down, just kind of get it out of my mind and onto a piece of paper, and it helps me relax a little bit more going into Shabbat, and I know that I have a plan. So as you can see for this particular week, we are doing exactly the menu that I had just said, with the Moroccan fish, salads, and bread for Friday night, then salads, bread, and hameen for Saturday lunch. I wanted to go ahead and add a green salad this week since we are having 2 guests for lunch. I also really wanted to do some kind of a dessert, and I just wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do yet. But while I was kind of mulling that over in my mind, I went ahead and wrote down a list of things that I needed to buy in order to make all the things that I wanted to make for Shabbat. After I finished up my grocery list, I looped back over to dessert and decided just to make cookies from the dough that I already had in the refrigerator. I just decided to go ahead and keep it easy on me. I enjoyed how easy things were last week with my Shabbat prep when I did that, so that's my story and I'm sticking to it. After my menu planning and grocery list, I treated myself to a well-deserved cup of tea to reward myself for all of the work that I had gotten done so far this week. I mean, do I really need a reason for a cup of tea? Probably not. But hey, it doesn't hurt to have one either. Thursdays are another big Shabbat prep day in our house. To start off with, my husband does the grocery shopping, and there I am pretending to be shocked that he bought me flowers. He buys flowers every week for Shabbat. It's such a beautiful, nice touch and just helps make the day a little special and brighter. So he is bringing in groceries from the car and starting to unload, and I put the flowers in a little bit of water, and then I help him finish putting stuff away so that he will be able to get started cooking here in a jiffy. So most of the groceries that we get on Thursdays, it's produce. We've usually already got meat in the freezer or something like that. So it's a lot of, the carrots, the cucumbers, and potatoes, lettuce to make a salad, things like that are what we are getting on Thursdays. So just to make sure that all of our produce is nice and fresh. And let me tell you, it just wouldn't be Shabbat without these great big giant awesome eggplants. They are the base to a lot of salads that my husband makes. He makes baba ganoush, which is a eggplant and mayonnaise salad. He makes several different salads with like a smoky eggplant. He's very creative and uses traditional recipes, and then he'll experiment and do things on his own. But it's just so much fun what he comes up with and what we get to eat. So here he is, my husband, rolling up some of the eggplants in foil, and he is going to basically fire roast those right there on the gas range. So they will sit there for a few minutes, and this is surprisingly not as messy as you would think, and it makes them very smoky, just like if they were done outside on a grill. So that's what they look like once they are finished cooking. Not pretty, but I promise it's delicious. He will peel those later and just use the meat on the inside to make the salads with. Garlic is something else we use a lot of. So here he is just preparing some fresh garlic. And yeah, it's totally normal that he does the cooking here on Thursday night. He's usually the one who does the Shabbat cooking. I know how to make all of these dishes, but I mean, hey, if he wants to cook, great. I am totally going to let him. It makes my life a lot easier, Shabbat prep a lot easier, and it gets him involved in it, which he really enjoys. And cooking is something that is so relaxing and fun for him. So he enjoys it and does not mind either. So like I said, he is starting to prepare the fish now. This is for our Moroccan fish that we eat on Friday evenings. There it is, kind of getting going there. It's a several hour process to make the Moroccan fish, but it is completely worth it. So he's just, cutting fish, preparing that, cutting vegetables, putting everything in the pot and kind of getting that going. Thursday nights are usually a late night for my husband while he is up cooking, and tonight while I'm filming him, it's a late night for me, but that's okay. It was fun to hang out with him while I was doing the filming. So here's the pot. Everything is just simmering, kind of maybe a little bit more towards a boil, but it's all doing its cooking thing, and then we'll put that in the refrigerator and save it until tomorrow. So I started out Friday morning by waking up early and making a special breakfast for the kids. I made homemade strawberry Pop-Tarts with icing and sprinkles. When you keep gluten-free and kosher, you can't exactly find those at the grocery store. So I decided to make these for the kids, and they would be able to eat them on Friday morning, and then the other 3 I will save for them to have on Shabbat morning. So just a fun little special treat that I wouldn't normally make, on an average Tuesday, for example. Okay, so do you remember that challah that I baked on Tuesday? Yeah, so now I'm pulling it out of the freezer. Well, I'm pulling 1 loaf out of the freezer. We're going to use that for Friday night, and then I'll be able to pull more out to thaw overnight that we can use for Saturday, but just the one for now. And the flowers that my husband brought home last night, now I have time to go ahead and put those into a vase. So I'm just gonna trim the edges, and I'm actually using a mason jar for a vase. I haven't unpacked my vases yet, except for the one big one, and I prefer something shorter on the table so that we can see each other and not just be blocked off by a giant vase of flowers. There's always laundry to do on Fridays. Y'all know I like to get all the laundry done before we go into Shabbat. I got a little behind on laundry this week, so on this particular day I had 2 loads of laundry to wash and 3 loads of laundry to put away. So I will not bore you with showing you all of that, but just know I did spend a lot of my time doing laundry, and that's not unusual. So it's early afternoon now, and my husband has started doing the cooking for Shabbat. He's getting that crock pot ready to make the hameen. That's what the onions are for as well. He's peeling some potatoes for that, just kind of getting everything ready for our hameen, which is our overnight stew. Here's my husband deep frying some eggplant. We had a couple eggplants he did not roast last night, so he's deep frying those for some other salads. And then here's some filling. He's gonna try to make some gluten-free barakas. We'll see how that turns out. And then our hameen is up there getting started. That will cook all night long. And yes, I know I am so lucky that I have a husband who enjoys cooking so much. After my husband finished the cooking, I got to work cleaning up the kitchen and then vacuuming the house and mopping the floors. I know, I made homemade Pop-Tarts for breakfast, and here I am with my tear and bake cookie dough for dessert. But hey, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. So anyways, yeah, I am making these cookies. They are going to be for dessert for lunch tomorrow on Saturday. And yeah, that's what's happening now. So setting the table is one of my favorite personal jobs to do. It's something that I really love to do before Shabbat, but this particular week, my kids really wanted to set the table. I am not about to turn down nice character building, helping out around the house, that sort of thing. So they set the table this week. It was cute to be able to just watch them, and they took so much pride in their work, and they really loved getting to set the table. And I just added the finishing touches of the glasses and the flowers. As Shabbat got closer and closer, things got slightly more hectic and slightly busier. So here are the candles that my husband put together. I'm sorry I didn't get to film him actually preparing the candles for Shabbat, but here they are ready to go. So there you have it, a week in the life of me preparing for Shabbat. So as you can see, I did a little bit every single day, and I've just kind of worked it into my lifestyle so that Shabbat becomes just part of the flow of everything in our lives. So we're able to have this wonderful, restful Shabbat, and just by working a little bit every day all week long. So I hope you were able to get some insights into how my life is through this video, and maybe some good ideas of your own for perhaps setting up your own day of rest, or maybe some tips and tricks if you already observe Shabbat. If you have any advice or would like to tell us how you do your week, go ahead and drop that in the comments below. I would love to get that conversation going with you all. Please let me know what you thought of this video, either by dropping a comment below or by hitting that like button. And please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and click that bell so that you get all of your notifications and you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you all so much for being here today and watching. And as always, I super appreciate it. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next upload.